Welcome to our Digital Speakeasy Friendsgiving episode. We're all stuck at home, quarantined again. I think most of us at least. My plans are canceled next Thursday, so here we are hanging out digitally, virtually on the Digital Speakeasy, always for a good cause. We switched roles a little bit, guys. I'm not used to sitting in the hot seat here. Usually that's my compatriot Jeremy over here. Jeremy, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me today, Noble Oak TJ.
Oh yes, pleasure to have you. Nice to see you over there. You know,
I like being in the upper left. You know, I couldn't afford the good seats to the concerts, so I'm in the nosebleeds.
Well, I'm subbing in as fake Tommy today. So Noble Oak TJ, fake Tommy. We got my friend Sri in Chicago. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. And yourself?
Very well. Yes. Nice to be beaten back to the lockdown this time. Congratulations on finishing first for this round.
Yeah, we've had an interesting couple of weeks. It starts getting even more interesting tomorrow.
Oh, what happens tomorrow? This is breaking news.
Tomorrow we go to 25% of capacity allowed in retail stores.
Wow.
That's opening back up? Was it at zero for the?
No, so retail stores have been open. So like at the grocery store, let's say they've got a capacity of like 100 people or whatever it is. Only 25 customers can be in the store at a time.
Wow. Okay. So it's getting even tighter.
Yeah. So it's not just like restaurants and things like that. Like regular retail stores are having their capacity reduced by 75%. So the amount of people even being allowed in the store.
That's grocery stores as well?
Grocery stores, any sort of retail.
Wow. That's rough, man.
I was like, we're already there. Apparently you didn't beat us there. So yeah. I was too quick to speak. We just jumped right into the deep end here on the lockdowns on the West Coast. I'm out in Seattle. And we got Lacey here in Ohio. How are you?
Good. I'm good. We're not that locked down yet. We still have indoor dining. But my neighbor to the north, Michigan, they just closed indoor dining. So hopefully everybody can stay in, drink their whiskey by themselves, and be good this holiday.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you only need one person to have Thanksgiving, right? You don't need the whole shebang anyways. And that's what we're here to talk about, is like how glad we are to not have to see our in-laws. That's the real point of the show. Surprise. This is the real show.
I don't know these people who are like getting on TV. It's like, well, that's my favorite holiday. I don't know what to do. if I don't get drunk and yell at my cousin, then I just it's a terrible year for me. Say, like, really, man, like, just settle down. Maybe taking the breather for a year will actually improve your relationship for next year.
Absolutely. With my family, absence definitely makes the heart grow fonder.
Mine too, believe me.
This is definitely a good year to avoid all the political stuff and all of that. It's a good year to just kind of be separate, I think.
It's a good year to be separate. That should be our national motto right now. The world. It's a good year to be separate. You know, just.
But
it's a rebuilding year, kind of like the Browns always have. It's a rebuilding year for us on like a family relationship area.
America 2020 is the Cleveland Browns of American history years. But we're here. We're going to hang out. We're always chatting. We're the folks who often get together other folks in the spirits industry, bartenders, musicians. But this time, it's just us. So from all across the country, we're going to just be hanging out, having a virtual Friendsgiving. And kind of what I have in mind is that we're going to walk through this as though we were all here slugging it out, getting together, going through the whole shebang of the big meal, from pre-meal all the way to the end, where we're going to be doing a little dessert wrap-up. I'm going to have a beverage to start. We've already had a bit of a check-in, how everybody's doing, how locked down everybody is. There we go. We've also got Megan here somewhere in the Chicago area, in the city proper, not in the suburbs.
Megan's having some technical difficulties, clearly.
Clearly. I think she'll get it sorted out here in a bit. But yeah, so we've been doing this since the beginning of lockdown. What month are we on here with Digital Speakeasy? We're in month 7 of Digital Speakeasy.
Wow. Has it been 7 months?
Feels like it's been 3 years.
Yeah, this is our 30th year here on the Digital Speakeasy. So thank you for hanging out, for tuning in, for checking it out. But this is all just us kind of goofing off, drinking some whiskey, hanging out.
Megan's on 2 screens.
I'm back.
Just figured it out.
Having some
Megan,
popcorn.
are you being a fancy pants and having 2 screens going at the same time for some reason?
The other Megan's gonna stay around because I don't know how to get rid of her. But this Meg's on her phone.
I can get rid of her. All right, there she goes.
Please, do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, welcome back and welcome. Check the link in the link tree if you're hanging out, if you're watching us. If you can give a few bucks to World Central Kitchen, especially as we enter the holiday season. Their mission has gotten nothing but more important, and we get to another round of lockdowns across the country. So check them out, see what they're doing. If you can give a couple bucks, please do. But usually we like to start the show with a drink. And if we were all hanging out and there were in-laws around, we'd be drinking. I'm drinking a little bit of Noble Oak Rye whiskey. But Lacey, I think you're going to kick us off with a cocktail. You got the aperitivo goods to get this thing rolling. So if you're hanging out, what are you going to make to entertain your probably not in-person Thanksgiving this year?
Well, one of my favorite aperitivos, an Aperol Spritz, right? Who doesn't love an Aperol Spritz? Especially if you're Italian. It's my favorite part about going to Italy, 5 o'clock, Aperol Spritz, right?
It's amazing what they do with the Aperol spritzes over there.
It's so good. But this one, I'm actually dubbing it the Tomo because I'm going to make it with a little bit of an American kick. Call it the Tomo for Mr. Tommy Moriello, who's not here, but in honor of him.
You got to pour a little out in honor of Tomo.
We got to pour a little out for my homeboy. I even wore my my horn for him.
Oh my God! There's so many cool Italians in this company.
All right. Well, what we're gonna do? We're actually, like I said, we're gonna make it an American kick. So we're gonna do equal parts Aperol, and you know what? I'm not measuring because my family's coming over. We're just gonna get it in, right?
Little bit of this, throw in a little more. All right. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, that was clearly not enough.
So listen. That's the Italian part, right? We got to give it an American kick. This is what I came here for. A little bit of Wyoming Outrider.
There we go.
That's why I called it the Tomo, right? It's Tommy's favorite. So we're going to add a little bit. It's supposed to be equal parts, but we're going to add a little.
I love that we're not, you're not obsessing about measures. That's important.
It's a holiday. You got people coming over. There's no measuring.
So a little of this, a little of that. You give it
a little of that.
You just agitate it.
Agitate it.
Agitate it.
We try to avoid that word at Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's my Thanksgiving safe word.
Agitated.
So we talked.
What was that last bit, Lacey? I'm sorry, we were jabbing. What was the last thing you threw in there?
Just some club soda.
Little club, okay.
Little club soda, little garnish, just for. But enough to make your Italian side happy, but give it that little American kick because
I love it.
You got to have a little extra when you have people coming over.
So are you recommending we start with that at Thanksgiving?
Yeah, because you're going to have a ton of wine. So you got to get something in that has a little bit of a kick. So
cheers.
Aperitivo with a kick.
I love it. That looks like a good pick-me-up for a gray day. It's sunshine in a glass.
It's the Tomo. It's a little sweet, a little bitter, a little bubbly. It's got it all in there.
And it'll kick your butt if you don't watch out.
I still think you could take him. While he's not here in the room to defend himself, I think you could take him.
I saw his push-up challenge. He was not going chest to the
He
floor.
did not, chest to the floor, elbows straight. Lock it in, Tommy. When you get here, we'll give you the real business. But not everybody's drinking, So if Sri, that's what you're here to tell us about, right? If you needed to entertain some folks, maybe you got some Mormons coming over. It's okay. I can say it. I was raised as Mormon. They don't drink, So you got to mix something up. Especially y'all got some youths in the house, so you want to be able to please all the crowds, right? You can add a little something if you need an extra kick, but you're going to make something that can please everybody in the house.
Yes, that's the goal. So we'll see. It'll work out, I hope. All right.
I hope so too. We already lost Tommy, man. We can't flub these bits still.
All right. So when I was a kid growing up, I always loved when we'd go to my mom's holiday parties at her work at the university she taught at, and they would always have hot cider there. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world because it was the one thing I could drink there. So over the years, I've taken that little bit of, what started off in the 70s as apple juice and a bunch of cinnamon sticks and tried to upgrade it and add to it. And I got to make it actually for our Central Division cleanup day a few weeks ago on our Giving More Day. So that was nice. I got to share with everybody else. So you can do this a couple of different ways. One, with the crock pot, set it, let it roll all day, let it go.
Set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it. Or two, the hot pot. I love these things. I discovered them a few years ago, actually back in India. You put your liquid in here, you press one button, it boils. The electric kettle boils super, super fast, and it's an air pot, so it stays nice and warm for you.
All right, I got to have a quick disclaimer here, though, because you're making the non-alcoholic version.
Yes.
And for those of you who are watching at home who are stupid like me,
Yeah.
do not put alcohol in that thing.
No.
Because it will light on fire.
No way.
Well, I have done booze in here with the cider, but you can't put like Lacey's cocktail in here because it will light on fire.
Yeah, if you diluted enough with the cider ahead of time, you'd be safe probably, but I still wouldn't recommend it. So
What
I
did
gotta
you
throw.
do? Tojo, you just were like, I want to try some hot whiskey. Like, what were you doing?
I was doing a lot of chocolate infusions, and I was like,
I thought you were going to say I was doing a lot of something else.
Well, it's Seattle. I was doing a lot of things in the early days of No Bloke. A lot of chocolate infusions. I was batching cocktails for a big event, and so I needed to have I had a giant stock pot full of whiskey and cocoa nibs, and I was like, I'm just going to put this on low heat on the oven. And I lit my entire stovetop on fire.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
I heard it erupt from the other room. I heard the sound of it lighting on fire.
Was it a gas stove or was it electric?
Yeah, gas stove.
See, that's why in all the kitchens, like when I was at Apple's a couple weeks ago, they all use the induction stoves, those induction units. You don't want flame. That's the thing. With this one, Toyo, there's no flame. It just plugs in, electric, safe.
But I have seen those light on fire at bars where they thought that they could use them to speed up making hot cocktails. Just a quick disclaimer. Sorry, carry on.
Thank you for that.
There's no booze in it yet, so
we don't need anybody eating Tide Pods because of this. So thank you, Noble Oak, TJ.
So next, cider. So there is a huge difference between cider and juice, and that is cider is unfiltered, pure, natural, just squeezes from the apples. Juice gets filtered and pasteurized. So we want all that goodness. We want unfiltered cider. Next key, because nobody likes chewing on spices. If you don't have any cheesecloth, and if you're lazy like me, get a little spice bag. You put your stuff inside, you pull it shut, and away you go.
Jeremy, you missed your chance to plug Connecticut there. He's got the Connecticut cider.
I thought you were going to call me a spice bag there, Double Oak TJ.
I was like, well, you put a lot of things in there too.
Spices. Yes for the cinnamon stick. Yes for star anise.
Everyone loves a good star anise.
A little bit of star anise. Get that in there. Got some cloves.
Those are whole cloves.
Whole cloves. Just throwing them in. About a tablespoon of cloves, 2 or 3 big star anise, 3 cinnamon sticks. This is all for a half gallon of cider. And then my secret ingredient from the homeland, cardamom.
Nice. Nice.
So about a half a tablespoon of cardamom pods.
Didn't see that coming, Tojo, did you? Nope.
I figured there would be some sort of secret ingredient. I didn't think it was going to be cardamom.
It somehow makes it more American. It's a melting pot.
I love, but can never pronounce correctly.
What?
Huh?
Cardamom?
Yes, I always mispronounce cardamom.
You just said it right now.
I know, but I got to listen to you guys say it all the time.
How about mascarpone? No one says that one right. Go ahead,
Is that-
Sherry. Sorry.
All right. Last, lemon. Slices of lemon. All right. Take it all, dump it, and it takes a bit of time, so I'm not going to do it live here. But you dump it all in the crock pot. You want to let it sit in that crock pot on low for at least an hour or two before your guests get there, and you're good to go. Now, the best part about this is you can take your mug. Shout out to Mike Yates for the coffee mug that I got last year.
Yatesy.
You can take the spirit of your choice. What are we going with, gentlemen?
I mean, you know what my answer is. But for the sake of argument, throw in some Brugal 1888 there. That'll be delicious.
Whoa.
There we go. I'm going to measure like Lacey.
Boring. Oh.
And then I've got my hotness. And we're good to go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And now you threw in the 1888, so you could
I
make it
can
alcoholic.
I did throw in the 1888. You can do it without the 1888 for the kids and those who don't want to imbibe. But I like having a nice little spread, the non-alcoholic cider, and then people can do what they want to do.
You know, I went to a Halloween party recently, and there was a jug of cider-esque stuff. And I actually did say, and there were kids everywhere, and I said to the host, is this alcoholic or non-alcoholic? And he goes, oh, no, there's alcohol in there. I was like, you got to put a label on it, man.
Yeah.
Because the kids, they were lining up for this stuff. And I was like, I think some of them might be falling asleep early tonight because you didn't put a label. He's like, oh. And then I went back 20 minutes, still no label. I don't know. There was a secret plot there somewhere, but make sure you label it.
No, I was at a birthday party, a kid's party, I guess it was over the summer, and the mom had prepared a Buzz Lightyear themed party, a Toy Story themed party. So the mom had made a green melon alcoholic punch for the adults, but did not label it as such.
Oh my God, that's terrible parenting.
Yeah, a 6-year-old's birthday party. So that was kind of interesting.
Did anybody get anything? I mean, did it go awry?
It was discovered that it was awry because of a kid who went and filled their cup.
Oh, mommy, this tastes funny. She starts making out with some other kids randomly. Junior's got the goggles.
So as a teenager, I have a younger brother who's a bit younger than me, and my parents had a bar in the basement, and for whatever reason, the cups that they had wouldn't fit an entire beer, so they'd fill up the beer, and then they'd take the can with like an ounce or so left and put it in the speed rail, just leave it down there in the speed rail.
Oh boy, I don't know if we need to say where this story's going, Shri.
Well, the story did not go anywhere with me.
Yeah.
We did find some of the younger kids down there sitting on the floor behind the bar later in the night.
Ole, 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 ole. Do you guys like soccer? I really like soccer. It's picking up any day now in the U.S. It's going to take off. I'm sure
So when you do this cider, do you ever do like a garnish stick to go with it? You could do like a cinnamon sugar rim, maybe caramel apple slices or anything like that.
My favorite is cinnamon stick, or I'll do a lemon zest, a lemon swath for it. Is the best way.
Sure, you seem like you'd be a really good host to Thanksgiving. Are you the Thanksgiving guy in your family?
So I am the Thanksgiving cook in our family. So I make all the food. In fact, I still get to make it this year, even though nobody's coming here because we're going to go deliver it to the in-laws.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I do all the food. My wife, though, is the hostess. So she's the one who decorates everything and figures all that stuff out. All I do is go in the kitchen and make stuff.
Isn't that weird? Like, I kind of love being that guy
You're not the hostess,
as well.
Too.
Huh? Oh, there.
Show him the Tomo.
Don't
What's
you
up,
know
guys?
Thanksgiving ain't Thanksgiving without Tommy? Tomo.
He's right on time too. But Jeremy, you had that segue just teed up perfectly. I was like, this is great because Tommy's bit is next. We're just gonna skip it.
I think that was all Tommy's doing.
What's up, guys?
So, well, welcome to the middle of our Thanksgiving feast. You've always got the late arrival, right? This is him, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little stuffed.
Yeah, no, there's some leftovers still over here. I think you'll be all right. You want some? You want light meat or dark, Tommy?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the light meat. I'm a big fan of the light meat.
All right, let's see what we got left. We got a couple drinks that we've been sipping on. We got the pre-meal chatter out of the way, so this is great. You know exactly when to arrive. We've already got the BS out of the way.
Pre-meal chatter is like the best part. That's when you're like,
really
how
is
are the kids? How is, oh yeah, would you like a drink? It's like there's a script already set of formalities that we can go through, get a drink in their hand, talk sports, talk kids. And then it's like mid-meal is when everybody gets a little too loose and things start to fall apart. So I think Lacey and Shri, they got the
That's when it
sweet
gets
spots for
fun.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what we're saving the best part for that, Jeremy. That's when you get to come on.
Yeah, good. Everybody gets lippy.
So we've already talked about the Dallas Cowboys' fate next Thursday, and now it's time for the antipasto. I think. Tommy, give us the goods. What's the deal with the Italian spread?
The antipasto is very, very important. So it's funny because I just did my my turkey bowl episode with my buddies, and I was going around asking what they're looking forward to, and no one said antipasto. And I was like, guys, like, how are you not looking forward to the antipasto? And they were like, because I get antipasto every weekend. I was like, valid argument. So now that I am up in now that I'm up in Westchester, even though Arthur Avenue was closed, I don't get like the Faicos and pasta fresca. So we would go to 3 different stores, right? So we go to Pasta Fresca, we go to Faicos, and then we would go to the bread store. And it would be like the Royal Rumble in the WWE, right? Like you would have like old Italian ladies boxing out people for the right pitted olives. It was absolutely amazing. So the way that, and my cousin
in Italian neighborhoods, a pitted olive is like a Cabbage Patch Kid in the 80s.
Pretty much. But it's like, you see, I think it's Brussels sprouts on the top right, but it looked like those really bright green ones that they make the olive oil out of. Those are the important ones, and those go quick, so you really got to get there early. But my cousin Matt and I...
We're getting the queue? You wait in the queue for the olives?
It's even without social distancing, there'll be a very long line around the corner. But old school, you would pull your ticket and wait for your number to get called. I'm sure they have that in Connecticut as well. But
no.
Yeah. So that's just us. So my cousin Matt and I, we would do the antipasto. So you would get your dry sausage, right? And a lot of people don't know how to cut a dry sausage, and they get it pre-cut, which is bush league because it's going to dry out before it gets to the table. So you have to get it still.
Hold the phone. The dry sausage dries out.
Oh,
Not dries out. It's actually, excuse me, I used that wrong. It won't be dry. Like there'll be too much moisture. It won't be good. It just, I don't even know how to describe it. It just won't be good.
It's like sushi. You want to eat it fresh.
So what is the proper way to prepare the dry sausage, Tom?
So you got to run it under hot water. That's the big move. So you run the dry sausage under the hot water. It loosens up the casing on it, and then you could easily pull it off. And then you slice it, and you.
Are you supposed to pull the casing off of a dry sausage? I don't think people know this.
1,000%.
I think people are eating the casing day and night. I think they think it's
eating the casing. I did not know that I was supposed to take that off.
See, what did I say? I called it.
You guys are all Irish, I guess. That's what it comes down to. The Scots don't take the sausage off. You got to
peel that thing.
Yeah, you got to peel it. You got to peel it.
Jeremy, you peel that thing? You grow up peeling that thing? I'm mostly Italian, and this is news to me, dude. This is blowing my mind. So, please carry on.
The reason why I brought it up, Tojo, is because I know people don't do that, and I do it. And so I was feeding Tommy there because I know that this is a major faux pas amongst the parts of our culture that just sort of, they just think you just start gnawing on the thing. Yeah, you got to peel that off.
My father was a butcher for like 30 years, and he never told me that you got to peel the sausage.
Butchers think of it as roughage.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good to him.
It helps digest.
He was testing you probably.
That was his nickname.
That's why.
His nickname was the Butcher because he was killing people on weekends. But you didn't know.
Rest in peace, Bill Cutting.
That's another episode.
So now, going back to it, my family gets prosciutto da Parma, hot super sod, sweet super sod. You're welcome, Jeremy. Hot capicola.
Wait. What's super sod?
So it's when
this is a TV show.
Call super
Just
sod
tune
up.
in to see Tommy.
You cut off the last two letters of every cured meat in Brooklyn. So it's normally like Manigotti. It's Manigot. You just get rid of those last two letters.
Dude, Jeremy was giving us the business with mascarpone earlier. I was like, wait till Tommy gets on. It's gonna be like mascarpone.
Mascarpone.
Yeah, exactly.
Mascarpone.
The first time when I went to Italy, I was like, oh my God, they pronounce everything. They actually say the whole word.
Oh yeah. It's two different fish, this whole thing. It's two different braciole, all right?
Well, you have to have pork and beef. You gotta have two different bracioles. So let's be honest.
The Brooklyn Italian and the Italian, totally different thing.
Yeah, it's calamad. There's a D at the end.
Mascarpone.
So you get
Ding, you said the word.
I'll do it. Hot capicola, sweet capicola. And now you lay out you fan out the salami, right? So that goes around. Now you roll the capicola and you roll the supersada, and that goes around. And then as you come on in closer and closer and closer, that's when you start going with your stuffed peppers. You start going with, some people put anchovies on it. We'd have two different antipastos, the hot antipasto and the cold antipasto. Hot and sweet. If people like the hot sausage or the dry sauce, the sweet sausage. And then you put all your olives, your cheeses, and as it all gets to the middle, you finish it up with the roasted peppers in the middle. And that's what everyone comes on in, because like Sebastian Maniscalco says, you need something to do with your hands. As soon as you sit down at a table in an Italian household, that's what you do with your hands. So
that sounds amazing.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. It's my favorite part.
You only do this at Thanksgiving, or in your buddies are like, hey, we're doing this all the time. I mean, that sounds like a to-do for me. Maybe a few Sundays a year and Thanksgiving for that much effort. But
Thanksgiving's definitely the biggest one. Other holidays will get like some sort of an antipasto, but Thanksgiving's definitely the big dog. But I mean, it's
Super Bowl antipasto.
Super Bowl, it's a different animal. It's like the biggest thing that, and I started doing this now, we do our own, what should we call it? Stromboli. We do our own stromboli breads. So we make dough, and then we would do salami, provolone, and pepperoni. And then now that I started going to New Orleans, I order the grocery muffaletta, and I put that in there as well.
Nice.
So Super Bowl wouldn't be like a full antipasto; it would be the stromboli rolls, and then just chaos.
And it's a different ball game if your team actually makes the big game. But for Tommy, as a fan of the New York Jets, it's not happening anytime.
I have no idea what a win feels like, let alone the Super Bowl. 0-9, baby.
Why are you a Jets fan? I don't understand this. Like it's like you have a great team, the Giants, that have not, depending on the year, but I mean more likely to succeed. Let's put it that way, traditionally speaking. And then you have the Jets, and you just choose the Jets. You're like, I want to. I mean, you have options, is what I'm saying in this city.
Well, Joe Klecko was able to bend quarters with his thumbs and rip telephone books in half. And I was at a fat kid camp, aka a lineman camp, and I saw him do this. And that's why I'm a Jets fan.
That was it.
I would argue, though, the Jets were not that bad when you were growing up as well as they are now.
Yes, they were. When Tommy was growing up versus when you and I were growing up.
I cheered on Ray Lucas, bro. They moved a corner to quarterback at one season. I have not had. We had Sanchez a little bit. That was cool.
The Sanchez was just the best. Sanchez, the butt fumble. Cheers to the butt fumble. How about
no, not cheersing the butt fumble. I'm not.
Butt fumble.
No, that's not happening. I'm not doing it.
It's not as bad. Lacey's got the Browns on one side and the Lions on the other, so you can't get much worse than that.
Hey, you grew up with Barry Sanders, though. I mean, that's awesome. The real Lion King, Mustafa, had nothing on Barry Sanders.
Cheers to Barry Sanders too. But before we get trapped in the NFL bubble, I feel like that's
Megan,
good,
you were a cheerleader and you don't know anything about football. I don't know anything about football either. I really don't.
No, I do know some stuff about football, but modern football.
Hold on, give us a football fact. I want to hit us with the good stuff.
Calling an audible means you're changing the play on the field.
Hell yeah.
Is that good?
Impressive. That's actually really impressive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How many Omahas does it take?
If you get into like football history, I'm out. Done. Talk to you later.
No, that was great. I love the audible. We're going to call an audible now and bring it to the moment
the Bears are really average right now, which is really good for them.
Wow. Coming from the person who lives in a city that no longer has a football team.
Oh, man, this is where it gets good. All right, this is the good stuff.
Now.
McGregor.
That's why I'm a Chicago fan. I decided to be a fan of the Bears, hoping that it would be good. I should have looked at history. This is how you can tell that I didn't know much about football and the history of it, because I decided I was going to convert to Bears fandom, and look where that got me.
Oh boy. Well, you know what? It could be worse.
Not
you could
far.
be a fan like McGregor and be a cheesehead, but we'll go away from there.
Oh, right.
Would you take a bullet for Ditka? That's the real birth in Chicago. If you put your hand on the Bible and tell them that you would take a bullet for Ditka.
Oh boy.
Who's
We're
more
not going
important?
there.
Who's more important in Chicago, Ditka or God?
Hey.
Question, Ditka is God. Thank you.
All right. So now that we've got the football debating out of the way, it's time for the real main event, the real debate. There's no
this is a tough
no religion or politics at the bar, but we're going to get into some hot topics here.
It's tough.
The preparation of the turkey.
This goes many different directions, and it's so singular to your tastes and your family traditions and all this stuff. I do battle every year with the turkey. It's between me and the turkey every year, and I don't mess around. I take this very seriously. And I started with this tradition by taking over the turkey for the family because I had a passion for it. And I found it so challenging. And if any of you do the turkey, Shri, you said you do the turkey.
I do the turkey.
A turkey is different every year. Like a woman, you never quite can put your thumb on the exact recipe. Now, the only
Careful.
thing that
Maybe it's because
True.
you're trying to battle the turkey. Maybe that's the problem.
Just
You
stop
don't
that.
love the turkey.
Love the turkey.
Yeah.
I've
Lacey, do you do
tried
the
to love
turkey?
the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
You
We got to
and
establish the stakes.
if you just fry it, it's going to win all the time. I think frying a turkey is cheating. It takes the effort, the love, if you will. You know, it's a fine line between love and hate, and it takes the finesse and nuance out of it. And you think that there's finesse to frying the turkey?
It's like fishing with a shotgun.
You just throw it in. It's done. You don't have to think about it.
No. Now, if you just throw it in, yeah, whatever. It's going to be
A
There's
good
not
fried
gonna be-
turkey. It's always
there's not going to
good.
be any flavor in that turkey though. Now, if you're going to talk about brining the turkey and preparing it properly,
Right.
now you're talking with a different animal.
But do you
So if
do a salt brine or do you do a buttermilk brine?
Salt all day.
All right.
Now, I would go with the buttermilk brine, and I've done multiples of all of them. The buttermilk brine, not only does it season the meat, but it does something extraordinary to the skin that salt does not do.
So, I like the concept of buttermilk, but I think that the salt brine brings out the flavor of the bird, whereas the buttermilk starts to break stuff down a little bit, and it doesn't quite give you. You're starting to cover stuff up. It's like the people with the Cajun seasoning rub. It's like.
Yeah,
I kind of put it in that same category where I like the basic, basic poultry spices, some salt, some sugar.
you want it to taste like a turkey, right?
Tastes like a turkey.
That's, I think, the most important thing that I failed at the beginning. I was injecting it with things like, like orange juice over there, and then, throwing the butter inside. It was just, and then too much seasoning. And then it came out usually dry and with too much flavor black is what we call it. It's like when you're building a cocktail, you might fall into flavor black sometimes. It's like what we call in our house, all the colors of the flavor rainbow mixed together. It's kind of like a nonsense flavor. And over seasoning is like that. You might know people that are maybe a little over seasoned. You say, I don't feel like you're being yourself. You're like an over-seasoned turkey to me. Just, let's find out what you really are. And
Yeah,
then
you turn into Willem Dafoe when you need to get the Snickers bar.
So, what is your preferred method of cooking said brine turkey?
I'm going, this is a recent thing. Okay. So for years, what I did, the last few years, and it's changed. Now I do it a little different. I found the KFC recipe, the secret ingredient online. And this is what I would do. And now I've shifted, but I would oil the heck out of it, right? Salt, pepper, and then put tons of this KFC seasoning on it, because we all know KFC is the best fast food fried chicken, right? And
it's turkey, it's not chicken, it's a whole different bird.
I'm not frying it, right? It's oiled, but the skin comes out with this incredible flavor. It's kind of perfect, the skin.
Is the secret ingredient cardamom?
Yes, that was the big family secret. People have been killed for the cardamom secret. I couldn't believe it myself.
Colonel
But now-
Miller's up.
Now I do the buttermilk, and I cut the backbone off, and I butterfly it in my iron,
Interesting.
cast iron, in my cast iron. So I
you
butterfly it.
you do not do cavity. You kill the cavity and you go flat.
Crush it. And it saves the cooking time. It cooks more evenly, and it doesn't dry out as much. It doesn't run the risk of drying out as much. And I read that in a book. The woman who did, what is it, Salt and Salt,
Fat,
Fire.
acid, heat.
I forgot her name, but she did chicken that way, and then we started trying it with the turkey, and it turned out dynamite.
All right. So
Now-
next question is, how big is your cast iron pan? Because I can do a chicken.
I don't do a giant turkey. I do.
Turkey.
How big? I usually I don't go with a giant turkey either. So I've made that mistake in the past, and I think if your turkey's too big, it's more apt to dry out as well. And I'm just not feeding that many people. So I mean, if you're feeding a lot of people and you want to do a turkey all day, that's totally awesome. But I don't wrap it much in like I know guys, Raul, for instance, from Edrington, swears by the plastic cooking thing to keep it moist, and I'm like, no, you can never do that, but he swears by it, so I don't do that. And again, this is everybody. What the only lesson I want to like give everybody is that butterflying the turkey is not anywhere near as hard as you think it is. So if in your head you think, oh, this is a big deal, because you could do it on a sheet pan too, Shri, if you don't have a big enough cast iron. And it's totally easy. So it's just a little like you got to get in there. So if you're not comfortable getting in there, then don't do it. But otherwise, to me, it's the best way to. And I think most chefs actually do it that way too. So if there's anything in there, hashtag get in there.
That sounds like a hell of a bird. I gotta hand it to you. That sounds
Thanks,
like a
man.
heck of a bird.
Thanks. You're welcome to. I'll mail you some.
Do we need to let you go so that you can get prepping on this thing? How long does this take? When do
No,
you
that's
need
the
to
other
lay this bird
thing.
down?
It's a 24-hour.
And
you're
the
gonna
buttermilk.
buttermilk it for 24, and then just make sure. Oh, this is another good hint. This is key. Get your turkey's got to be at room temperature before you cook it. I think this is another like amateur move that I didn't know, and then years of doing this, I learned. Go room temperature. Say again, Trey.
Not just turkey though. Most proteins you cook, want at room temperature before you.
Now I'm obsessed with it. Like I'll say to my wife, I'm like, did you put that out first? It's not gonna cook right. Just now to the more important. So if the turkey isn't that
how
great,
many years in are
I lost you. I lost you, Meg.
how many years in are all of you guys of being like the turkey
30,
like
34.
chief? How many years in are you guys? It seems like a huge daunting responsibility.
I'm still waiting to get tagged in. I'm not even there yet. I know how to prep a
Nice.
turkey, and I've done it, but I have not done it on Thanksgiving. I'm just
Nice.
I'm like the backup. Like,
Dude, Tommy,
I'm here.
you've got a baby now. Now this is your
Okay,
year,
your
man.
baby.
Like it's time. This feels like this is your final anointment to
Yeah.
fatherdom.
Lacey, when did you take over the turkey?
Tap in.
I mean, I've been hosting Thanksgiving for at least 10 years.
Nice. I love that. That you're.
Oh my
you raised your hand
God.
and said, "I want to do this."
We got double digits in the house. Double
I've been-
digits.
I've been doing the
I
turkey
gotta
going
step up.
25, 26 years.
Yeah. When my grandmother got too old to do it is when the family brought me in. The family was like, don't make a big thing out of it. But the last couple of turkeys have been really, and maybe it's time you stepped up and did it. I was like, I'm there. And my grandmother was pissed.
Gotta say, Grandma.
Oh, she was so mad. Like she stood behind me and would like eyeball everything and then critique it and roll her eyes. And I was like, oh man, Grandma's so mad at me right now. It was like, I'm just trying to give you love. But my grandmother got to the point where she would put the turkey in overnight and not base. She got so lazy. And then in the morning it would be done.
no.
She'd pull it out. God bless her. I love her. But then she'd put it on the counter and then you'd eat it like 8 hours later.
This is
And it
Nana's
was like-
love language.
And you're eating it. She just got old and lazy. And she's like, another turkey. Who cares? And I'm sitting there and we're all like, yeah, it's a little weird this year. And so now I come in and I get all type A over it. And I'm going like, okay, so this is all, I'm going to time everything out. I got everything set. This is all going to go. And she was like, that's not how I do it. And we're like, we know. Hey, Graham, there's some really yummy pickles in the other room.
You devoted your own grandma.
I did. And I
Did
took
you
some,
only do the turkey the first year?
but the family brought me in. This was their idea. No, we
Sure.
started to do everything. Like we got into it, and I love it. And every year we do. It's not always the same thing. There's like maybe 2 things that we keep exactly the same, and then but a lot of the sides evolve. So like this year, it's actually all the sides except one are totally different than we've done them in the past.
Do you
So
go classic American sides, or do you do
Yeah.
Italian sides?
No, I had my Italian side totally did like manigot and all that stuff, and
Thank you
then
for pronouncing it properly. I
you're
appreciate
right.
it.
You know, I'm from Connecticut. I know the lingo. And manicotti. Thank you. We but then the other side where I actually spent most of my Thanksgivings did like straight up like 50s style, like just right out of the Good Housekeeping.
Straight up 50s style though, because
Yeah.
I can make all the fancy sides and do all that stuff, but Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. Like,
Yeah.
that's the day that you're gonna eat, bad green bean casserole and mashed potatoes and all that.
That green bean casserole thing, like I inherited, my wife brought that into the mix. And when it first came in, it was like, you're doing what to what now? And it was like that was a Midwestern. She's like, what do you mean you don't know this? I was like, oh God.
Campbell's
Is that a
soup in there.
Midwestern?
Yeah, you get some Campbell's soup in there.
And it
Yeah,
lasted maybe
it's like
2
Midwestern
years, and then
Southern.
we 86'd it. That one had to go. But her stuffing stayed. That's the only solid in the
you
whole.
do a sweet or a savory stuffing?
We do. It's actually, she's from Texas, so it's a straight up cornbread with sausage and jalapenos, and it's amazing. It's great. It's totally like doesn't fit in the rest of everything on our table, but it was so good that we're like, this is your thing. This is the thing that we're gonna do. What about you, Lacey?
I do like a traditional, but I'm using usually like a spicy Italian sausage crumble in it. I don't want no dried cranberries, any of that stuff. No.
What about the oyster people? Like that?
I like the oysters. And
I've
stuff.
never had it, and I want to try it so
My
bad.
uncle did it for
Oysters?
4 years.
How'd it go over, Tommy?
We had to do 2 birds. So my uncle did the oyster bird, and then we did the traditional Italian sausage, like Lacey said. We now do just the Italian sausage.
Well, the thing is, you don't want to keep oyster stuffing in. You want to make it on the side.
No, I don't like to mix my aphrodisiacs and the turkey, which puts you to sleep. Those two worlds don't go together.
Lacey and Jeremy, do
What
you
are they
guys
doing
do
with the
sauce?
oysters? I don't even.
Yeah, explain the oyster thing.
So essentially, you still have the sausage, but you're taking basically canned shucked oysters and a little bit of the oyster water, and you're throwing them in the stuffing as well. And it can work. Usually not stuffed in the turkey. You want to make it and bake it separately. I think it works great, but once again, like Tommy said, throwing it in the bird is not going to work at all. But we used to do it. So I used to do it at a seafood restaurant I worked at, and I wanted to ask you guys. Most of us came from the restaurant industry. How many of you guys did up until 7 or 8 years ago? I worked most of my Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I catered on one Thanksgiving, and it was like I was crying through the whole thing. Like the guy, it was like double money to be the cater waiter bartender, for this rich family on the Upper East Side. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And I must have looked so depressed. They were so nice. They're like, don't you have a family that you could be spending this time with? And I was like, I do, but I need the money. And they were so sweet, and I must have looked so sad. And the next day, we did like a little tiny Thanksgiving, but it was depressing. I didn't want to work on Thanksgiving. That was tough. How did you guys do with it?
I'll tell you one little story. I had hosted Thanksgiving at my house, and then everybody is like ready to pass out on the couch and watch football, and it's 6:00 and I have to go to work. So I am so mad. And the kitchen wasn't open because I worked at like this little sports bar or whatever. So I go there and I am just cranky, like Captain Cranky Pants the whole time. And I still like feel bad about this, but this server walked up to me and she said, I just had a table sit down. Should I give them menus? And I was like, why? So they can see what they can't have? And I was like, oh my God, I am such a jerk. Such a jerk.
No, they were thankful for you.
I still think about that. Like, she probably hates me. So
you only had one table hate you in your career as a server. I mean, I must in New York.
The server asked me that. I was the bartender, so I yelled at her.
Oh, you only had one server hate you when you were a bartender.
That day.
The drink is coming. Get away from my bar.
Some good Thanksgiving shift stories.
I kind of used to like doing it, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe that makes me the real weirdo who just never really liked his family.
Everyone loved working with you. They were like, oh, yeah. Do you know Tojo? He works on holidays. Call Tojo. He'll cover.
Thanksgiving?
Like the holiday vibes at the bars that I was working at was always like, it was like the festive place to go after everybody had already partied or kind of come in half drunk, and like it was just like a party vibe. It was kind of fun. It was like these people are my family and my best friends anyway, so like I'm just gonna go hang out with them at the bar, and we're probably gonna drink a little bit on shift anyways. Didn't say that. Yeah, it's fun. But
your boss isn't watching.
Oh no, they
your
know.
old
It
boss.
was state sanctioned.
I refused to work Thanksgiving. Like it was just it just wasn't happening. I think I might have worked one. Because I remember seeing the fireworks in Central Park. I worked one Thanksgiving and I was miserable. I hated it.
Yeah, it's depressing, right?
I put the full court press. I mean, honestly, I physically probably couldn't, not just from the food coma that I was in, just because of my legs, because I play football every Thanksgiving, and I literally only do it once a year now, and I can't move, so because I'm so sore after. But Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving, those are my two. I would do anything throughout the year to have those 2 days off.
Me too. That's it. For me, it's like those are literally, especially Christmas Eve, is the most important day of the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do
tell my kids a couple years. So my wife is a nurse, so she works the same funky hours that we do in the industry. So a couple years ago, we had to tell my kids that Christmas was on a different day. We just lied and said
That's fine. We did that. We've done that with a lot of holidays, believe it or not. It's not as bad as you think it is. They'll never know. It doesn't matter.
I'll never know.
We did that with Easter last year, because the stuff we ordered for them on Easter didn't show up because everything was backed up on Amazon. And so like both my wife and I were like, who cares? Whenever it shows up, they don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It feels like a victimless crime. You know, as long as you can keep them off TikTok so that they don't see all their friends celebrating on the TikTok, then you should be good.
If my 5-year-old is rocking TikTok at this point,
we've all got bigger
he's got some good content.
So wait a second.
Wouldn't put it past her.
They're all going to be making more money than all of us anyways on TikTok. TikTok influencers.
So.
I have a question for Lacey and Jeremy. Do you guys do sauce?
As opposed to gravy?
No, I mean, like, do you make like a holiday sauce? Like,
no.
We do a full sauce as well. So we do antipasto. Then we make pumpkin raviolis with sage and butter. Nice. And then we do a full holiday sauce, brajol, pork, the whole shebang with cheese raviolis,
Wait,
and then we go to the bird.
What was
Nice.
the holiday sauce?
Yeah.
So you want me
That's
to,
for flavor. That's for flavor, Shri.
so holiday sauce is meatballs, brajol, hot sausage, sweet sausage, piece of piece of beef, and a piece of pork.
Okay.
Piece of beef.
How you doing, man?
Whatever piece whatever piece you can
Sausage.
find lying around is fine.
For me.
So
Sausage.
back to the most important part of the meal. So okay, we covered the turkey. Clearly,
Got the
this
turkey.
is a very there's a lot going on with the turkey. Now, years ago, this is true. So I got really sick of wine, and I love wine, but everybody every year just what's the wine to bring for Thanksgiving? What's the wine to bring for Thanksgiving? And my feeling on the wines for Thanksgiving after years of doing this and pairing was I like either a super bright red, but actually I would forego that for a very dry or a crisp white. So I tend to go into the Sauvignon Blanc land. And here's why. So it's not about pairing the wine with the food. You can't do that with this meal. That's the thing. This meal is so weird and diverse, and there's all these weird things happening on the plate or on the table at any given time. So in order to actually pair wine with Thanksgiving, you would need 4 wines at your table, because one thing goes with this, one thing goes with this, one thing goes with this. So
Especially
I said,
with the jalapeno cornbread in there. That's
what are you
throwing
gonna,
everything.
nothing works there, right? So what are you going to do? Here's the thing with Thanksgiving. All the
That's why
sides
it's awesome.
are fatty and they are starchy, right? And there can be 3 of those. There could be 8 of those, right? They're all fatty, starchy. And remember what I was talking about earlier, flavor black. They kind of turn into mushy, fatty, salty flavor black. Okay. Now, the only way to really differentiate between every course or every side is to clean your palate between each taste, which, believe it or not, is what the cranberry sauce is for. So the cranberry sauce is there quite literally to cleanse your palate between all the sides. So I said, well, what's a great palate cleanser? Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc, little sip of Sauvignon Blanc in between all the sides. You're going to have potatoes, take a sip, then try the stuffing, and then take a sip, then try those green beans or Riesling. Tom, perfect. I love a good Riesling. Would work
Piercing
perfectly.
acidity.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, what about whiskey? Okay. Now, we all have to be careful here because too much whiskey on a table leads to too many weird uncle conversations. And just like wine, whiskey is diverse. So maybe at the beginning of the meal with Tommy's antipasto, you want something else, right? I personally, and this is debatable, don't think any whiskey pairs well with tomato sauce. I believe this pretty factually in my brain, but I've heard people yell at me and say, no, that's not true. And here's the winner. In the winner is a bourbon-based scotch. Is the Sauvignon Blanc of Thanksgiving dinner. It's a little bourbon-based scotch, which is going to be nice and dry and bright from the American oak. The citrus and honey notes, just like a good white wine, are going to exist here. And you have a little... Every Thanksgiving in my house has a bottle of a good bourbon base. This is Glenrothes bourbon cask. And you throw that on the table. And along with everything else, you have a just a little sip in between, nothing too crazy. It's going to cleanse your palate. It's going to give you some of those buttery notes that a good white wine will give you. And then I like to do a little dash of a smoky whiskey in my gravy. I like a sherry oak smoky whiskey like Highland Park 12, just a shot in there, and it's going to give this whole nother dimension. It's super subtle. It's not super smoky. It's another dimension of whiskey. And I think with a chocolatey dessert, I'm going with Tojo, the Noble Oak.
Nice.
Bourbon with a nice chocolatey dessert afterwards. But for the main course, have a nice Glenrothes bourbon cask on the table, and drink it sparingly. And maybe you won't need as much wine as everybody always goes crazy over. That's and you can look this all up. It's all on my Facebook page.
Like and
you. Say
subscribe. Like and subscribe. Jeremy at facebook.com. Lacey, this feels like a great time to actually tee you up for drink number 2, because you mentioned the cranberry sauce. And I know that you've got something up your sleeve here that incorporates cranberry sauce into a cocktail.
Perfect segue. Thank you. Because let's be honest, if you're at my house, you're either going to drink whiskey or red wine. Sorry, I don't even have white wine in my house. Just don't. I would like to think like I would one day get into wine, but I found red, and I guess I'm not going back. Now to the cranberry sauce. Look, of course, we want to think that we're fancy and use it as a palate cleanser. Look, every time we're going to buy a can of it, and it's going to sit there, you know? And look.
The fancy kind is not in a can, Lacey.
What's that? Listen.
Mascarpone.
We're not eating it, so we're lucky if somebody even brings a can of cranberry sauce, okay? Regardless. It's just going to sit there. So, we're done eating. I'm a couple whiskeys in, maybe a couple wines. It's fine. The line's probably lost at this point. The Cowboys are about to come on. I'm not doing dishes because I just cleaned or just cooked all day. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take that leftover cranberries that nobody's using. I'm take a big old spoonful of it. Big old spoonful of it. Going to put it in a shaker.
Nice.
Little ice. And my first cocktail was an ode to Tommy. This one is an ode to Tojo. Also, my mother has now fallen in love with Noble Oak rye. She comes over. She's like, "You got any of that rye? That rye stuff?"
Oh my God.
That rye stuff.
That rye stuff.
At a local retailer near you.
It's so smooth. It's just ridiculous. You could just tear it up, that bottle.
And you know what? It's a port finish, so I think it pairs beautifully with a lovely, fancy cranberry sauce. And again, we're not measuring because it's the end of the day. Who cares? We got a football game to watch, guys. It's fine. It's totally fine, guys. It's fine. We'll give it a little shake. And again, this isn't anything fancy. We're just gathering leftover stuff, trying to get it done. I'll pour it in my glass. Look, that wasn't the prettiest, but you know what? It's all going to taste good. And because I'm from downriver Detroit, aka Toledo, I'm just going to top it with a little Burners. Diet, because you know what? I just ate all that crap.
Wait, what is that?
What is it?
It's
Burners.
What is that?
Rumor on the internet, and I don't. We can't say that this is true. We can't legally say that this is true. Oh, that's Diet Burners.
What is Burners?
Ginger ale.
Oh, great. Okay.
I heard that it helps protect against this virus that's out there. Don't quote me on that. Just it's a Burners.
Say that it aids in digestion, but
Can you inject it into the body, Tojo? Is that how it works?
Shit, just add a little daylight, inject that, and it's good. You're gonna be safe for a while at least.
Oh,
A while. Well, I added
Scientific
a little
unit of
fresh
measurement.
squeezed lemon,
not as a therapy.
a little, just to make it pretty.
Dr. Tojo.
Lovely.
Wow.
That is an incredible 2-ingredient drink.
Look, not fancy.
I love the use of the
We
leftovers.
had cranberry sauce, Verner's, noble oak, a little lemon juice. That's 4 ingredients.
That
Done.
I
And
can't
look-
taste it, but I know
Lacey,
that slaps.
What was the first cocktail? I'm sorry for coming on late. I didn't know that I had enough.
Well, you're just gonna have to rewatch the show and watch it.
Don't do that. He's gonna hear us making fun of his push-ups.
Tomo.
I
My
called it.
push-ups got made fun of.
Look, Tommy, I
That's great.
did an Aperol spritz, but I added Wyoming.
Yeah, I like that.
It was my Italian American.
I respect it. I like it a lot.
That's why it's an IPA.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you very
cheers.
much.
I'm gonna build us a bridge now to dessert, because my side, growing up as a Mormon, where food was always a delicacy. If it came from Costco, it was good. I tell you what, the bigger the turkey, the better. Dry as the day is long, just like Mother used to make. So I know good food. Our side, green Jello. You want to float some shit in
Wow.
there? Absolutely. Go for it. Yeah.
We did the orange. You did green. And was it like a can of fruit? The canned fruit in there?
Yeah. And you can get real freaky with the Jello sometimes. I know some real weirdos out there, and like down near where you live, Lacey, maybe out there in your land, Meg. You can add some mayonnaise and stuff. And we don't need to go that far.
Ambrosia.
That is
Ambrosia.
Whipped cream, not mayonnaise. Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool.
Whip.
The good stuff. I am a purist. Just the green Jello and a can of whatever is the shittiest fruit at your local supermarket. Throw
That's
those
offensive to fruit, Tojo. I'd like you to.
whatever your fruit adjacent canned good is with the syrup in there. Why not throw it all in there? It's all great. Which is that a side or is that a dessert?
Syrup.
What do you pair with
Syrup.
this lovely delicacy of Jello?
With the green Jello, you just eat it. It's
Oh,
it's
no.
It's a side. It's weird. You
Or
just Meg. Yeah.
you can mix vodka in there, put it in the fridge, and let it sit for a while, and then it's really dessert for the end of the night. Old school.
throw a little snow leopard in there, and then you
So
get a
good.
real after dinner party.
So good.
That's the
Which brings
only
us-
need you ever need for Jello.
Which is why you're you're subbing in as the fun aunt here to take us to the after dinner portion of the evening. Now that we've arrived at snow leopard Jello shots, what else do we have queued up for after we've had the turkey?
Woo! That was the best segue in digital speakeasy
So-
history. So good.
I was not kidding when I said in our preparation that I do not cook. The most cooking I've ever done in my life probably was making Jello shots in college. But I did bring dessert in the form of Bunrather 18, which I've already poured for myself. And then I make it a little bit extra sweet with a hint of cherry bark vanilla bitters. That's about as sweet that I want a drink ever. And that's how I've been drinking it tonight. But I also, as the fun aunt, I do feel like it's my responsibility. Around this time of night, things might get a little testy. People have had a little booze in their system. And if you ever feel like somebody starts talking politics or asking you why, you don't have babies yet or you don't have a boyfriend yet, I might be speaking from personal experience. I, as your fun aunt, have the perfect advice for you. And it's this. Just add a compliment, respond just with a compliment about them. It could be like, I love that blouse, or I love the new job that you've gotten, or I love what you're doing with your life. It's a full compliment, and at the very end, just add for you. and you've
Yeah.
solved every problem you would ever have at Thanksgiving dinner. So if I said, I love that shirt on you, for you. I love where you're going with this wife, for you. You can compliment them, and it's a compliment. And you don't have to worry about anything else.
Hang on, let's try it now.
So that's
Let's try it now, Megan. Megan, Megan, you know, how are you voting these days? Huh?
I voted.
Meg, you're
I
very-
thought we're not allowed to talk politics here.
I think you're very liberal.
I'm sweating.
You know what, Jeremy? I
Yes.
really love those
Yeah.
headphones for you.
So Megan, how's old what's his name been doing with the baby that's happening for you, the two of you together with the what's his name? He's great. I really loved him the last time I saw him and was hoping that there would be a baby already by now.
You know what, Tojo? I love your relationship for you. That's I love it. But I feel mean. I don't want to actually be mean to you guys. But I'm just saying,
It's not mean.
I was
It's one
gonna
of
say,
those things-
I'm nervous to play this game. I have no idea what's gonna come out of Megan's mouth. My push-ups
I
are
feel like
already
I'm like-
attacked. I don't know what's happening.
It's a lot harder when it's friends that you're looking at.
as opposed to family. I love it. I love it. It's so much easier to slightly insult your family
Yeah, exactly.
than it is.
Is this like the St.
Distant
Louis
family.
version of
Distant
Bless Her
family.
Heart?
Totally.
That's I was gonna ask that, Tojo. That's funny. I was literally
Yeah.
that was my next question. Bless your
Bless
heart.
your heart.
It
It
is
makes
bless
you
your
feel
heart,
like
but it's
You're
like
complimenting
it's
me,
the
which
new
throws
bless
me
your heart,
off.
so people don't know it yet.
Yeah, and then you have to think twice and go, "Oh, thank you." I think, and then
That's
done.
the real winner here is that they
That's it.
go home and they're still thinking about it. If that was a compliment or was it not? That's how you win because you spend the whole night they're thinking about it an hour later.
She learned how
Voila,
to be
you
so
won
bitchy in the big
Thanksgiving.
city.
No, that's not a city thing. That's a Midwestern thing for sure. Don't let anyone fool you.
That's
Sorry. Okay,
fantastic.
so you
And that's my-
complimented them backhandedly, and
That's my
then
advice is the fun ant. And then add for you. No, it's a compliment. Compliment for you. It's a compliment for you. Easy.
Done. I
It's
got
not untrue.
I'm doing it.
I
I'm
just
doing
make
it.
them think a little bit.
Is it
Yeah,
only
before
Thanksgiving that you use this technique, or can we use it, just generally? Like, that whiskey's
I
very
prefer
good
more for
for
like
you.
an and, but
So using that.
not one in particular. But I guess you could use it. It could be applicable to life all the time.
For you.
I love that for you. I guess you could apply it to life all the time.
For you.
For you.
This is the gift. This is the gift that keeps giving.
I can't wait to host a whiskey thing and
For you.
have somebody come up to me and tell me what their favorite is, and I'm going to use that. I love that whiskey for you.
That's good. That's
I
I
love
like
it,
that
yeah.
one too.
The beauty too is you can play with your emphasis on the word for. So if you really want them to know that you don't like them, you can say for you. Or if you want them to question a lot, just be like for you. Like don't change the emphasis in the sentence at all.
Tommy, can you give that
It
a
is the gift.
Christopher Walken delivery?
Say it again. What?
A Christopher Walken delivery? I like it. For you.
For you.
For you. It's even weirder if you're at Thanksgiving and your crazy uncle starts coming at you and you go, I really like that political view. For you.
For you.
Christopher Walken already did that line in Pulp Fiction.
Dude, this is like a
Watch.
Dennis Leary bitch.
That's scary.
For you.
Yeah, that was my father's watch for you. Okay, let's wrap this thing up.
Wait,
We're at dessert.
Did you have the yes? Sorry. Go ahead, Tojo.
We're at dessert. We've got the for you bit in our pocket. What's everybody's favorite dessert? Let's wrap this thing up. Jeremy, what are you having for dessert? What are you looking forward to?
I got to tell you, like, my wife is going to go straight up apple pie, which I love.
my grandmother traditionally made me a coconut cream pie because I liked that until I was like 14, and she kept making it till I was like 35, and I was like, thanks, Graham. I threw Graham under the bus again. But to be honest, only on Thanksgiving, pumpkin pie. Every other time of the year I could leave it, but Thanksgiving for me, pumpkin pie.
Tommy, what do you got?
I agree.
So, casada. Have you guys heard of?
Casada cake's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with casada.
I don't know what it is now, but I want it.
What that is?
You need it in your life.
Yeah, it's proof that Jesus loves you, or whoever you talk to.
Is it safe for work?
It's made with ricotta. It's got, I pronounce them all for you, Suri. It's got a liqueur in it. It's like dried fruits are in it. It's pretty awesome.
Is it
It's
cake, a pie?
it's cake.
Okay.
It's cake.
It's like a Christmas cake, like a
No, it's kind of like, I guess the simplest way I could explain it is like the best, most Italian version of like strawberry shortcake.
Okay.
Tommy, I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like layered white with like fruit and ricotta, and it's it's amazing.
It's like a sponge cake too. It's like a ricotta ricotta sponge cake with dried fruit.
It is
and some I forgot what liqueur they put it into it. I'm assuming it's like Frangelico or something like that.
I like dried fruit, but people hate it. Like I actually like Christmas cake or fruit cake. I think they're good. A good fruit cake is good. A bad fruit cake is bad. Like haggis. But
haggis is awesome. Stop it.
Yeah, but if you have a bad haggis, it's like there's bad haggis. So
the haggis we had in Scotland was amazing.
Yeah, there's good haggis. Now, not that fruitcake tastes like haggis, but if you get a good fruitcake, but just the mere mention of candied fruit makes people go, oh, no, I hate it. No, I mean,
yes, and I mean, obviously, by my waistline, I never got a bad casada, but I'm assuming that it's
I never got a bad casada. Tommy Mario.
Write that one down.
That's your upcoming album, right?
There's so many.
That's actually the title to my memoirs. That's my.
I want to see the picture. I never got a bad casada.
My memoirs. All right, Meg, let's move it out here. What are you looking forward to? You just doing Glen Rothis with a dash of bitters? That's it?
For you.
Yeah, you guys, I know I got a signed dessert, but I actually don't like dessert. I'm not a sweet tooth. I know. I'm like, I'm evil.
No
but,
dessert.
Like,
You don't. You just skip it.
Dessert's a boost for me, so I'm good.
I feel that.
I like liquid Polly's.
That's good. That's all good. Lacey, how about you? You can't say casada. It's already taken. Sorry.
Okay. I will say my husband makes a really good chocolate like silk pie from scratch. And so if I could do that with a black Manhattan, that's where I'm going.
Tasty.
Sri, bring us home.
All right. So, like Tommy, I'm going to throw my grandma.
You're just perfect. I picture you as like Monica and Friends.
I'm going to throw my grandmother under the bus. She used to make this thing called a ground cherry pie.
Thanks for throwing that out, Sri. Thank you.
I did not know what a ground cherry was. Apparently, it's like a tomato, and it tastes incredibly awful. So avoid ground cherry pie if you see a ground cherry pie. My go-to dessert, and I'm the only one in my family who likes it, so I rarely ever get it. My daughter was born the week of Thanksgiving, so we just don't get pie anymore. So you have to eat.
Happy birthday-ish to your daughter.
When's her birthday? My birthday. My daughter's birthday is the day after. When's yours?
Mine is Monday this year, Thanksgiving, depending on how it falls. But he's fallen on Thanksgiving a few times, which sucks because then you get cake and you don't get pie, and I like pie. Pecan pie is my go-to with a nice glass of bourbon. The Outsider works well with that. The double cask works excellently with it, and a nice slice of pecan pie.
Can we go back to this cherry thing? You said it tastes like tomatoes?
Ground cherries.
So it's just a cherry that you grind?
No.
That's what I was thinking.
A ground cherry. See, I like cherry pie. I like the old McDonald's cherry pie, the Dolly Madison cherry pie.
The song.
I went for the cherry pie thinking it was made from cherries.
It's not.
No, it is not.
So she's my cherry pie. It wasn't a cherry in the pie.
A ground cherry is more relative of the tomato than it is of an actual cherry.
You're making this up.
It tasted awful.
No one knows what you're talking about right now.
I've never heard of this.
This is not a thing.
I hadn't heard it either until I went there, and it was.
This is your grandmother who you won't throw under the bus.
So I'm throwing her under the bus. Western Pennsylvania, old Mennonite recipe, old Mennonite territory.
Well, I'm going to finish it off. I have a confession to make. The first time I ever bought a bottle of alcohol was in my 20s. It was a bottle of Jim Beam White Label. Jim Beam White Label to make eggnog. So I'm going with liquid dessert that has booze in it.
Eggnog's the best.
And it goes the whole season. So the whole winter season. Eggnog is the one. It's the chosen one.
I'm with you. I love it. I love eggnog.
Not coquito over eggnog?
All right.
With the Noble Oaks. With
Noble Oaks. Noble Oak eggnog is delicious. I was actually also this is coming up on my anniversary with Noble Oak because I got hired around this time of year, and that was one of the first things I ever made with Noble Oak too. So first bourbon I ever purchased, one of my first cocktails with this brand. But my friends, this has been just a lovely time hanging out virtually. I wish that we could all be together, sharing a dram, drinking some eggnog for you. I am very thankful for all of you. I wish
you too, buddy.
A happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. Thank you so much for joining me today. Check out World Central Kitchen if you can. Mr. Jeremy Fonicello, thank you so much. Tommy, thank you, my friend. Pulling it all together. Meg, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Lacey, cheers. Really appreciate it. Shree, cheers, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Cheers. Happy Thanksgiving.
I wish I could have Thanksgiving with all of you. You guys are awesome. We'll see you later.